Today is Matt's birthday. Most of you probably already know, but in case you didn't, Granny got to come home yesterday, the day I'm filming this, Matt's birthday. We are so thankful that she got to come home. So happy for all of us to be home, and nobody, Granny especially not staying in a hospital bed, but even me and Steve and Paul not staying around the hospital. So we all slept really good in our beds last night, and Granny told me this morning that she rested so well. She said, I just rested, and then I turned over and I rested some more. So we've really enjoyed being home. Since we got home late yesterday, I thought that Granny would be there the rest of the week. It was a surprise that she got to come home. I thought she'd be there till at least maybe Thursday or Friday. So I didn't really plan on anything for Matt's birthday. I was thinking, well, I'll just have to make it up to him. We'll do it, you know, a delayed birthday dinner. But once I got to come home, last night I was really too tired to think about anything. All I wanted to do was take a bath and go to bed. But this morning, and of course Matt didn't, he told me, don't you worry about anything. We'll just eat a sandwich, or he'll cook something. We'll just rest. But he had to go run some errands. And so I'm like thinking, what could I do? What could I do for Matt to surprise him? And I went through all my cabinets and my freezer looking for stuff. And finally I decided what I would do is I got some of the soup beans that Matt and I grew last year, dried beans. First time we've ever dried beans ourselves. So I got some of those out, and I've got them soaking over here. Now, by the time I thought about this, it was too late to soak them for a long time. I usually like to soak them overnight when I do what we call soup beans, which is kind of pinto beans. These are actually, they look like pinto beans. They're the rattlesnake beans that we grew last year. Anyway, so they won't get to soak that long. I've got them in some hot water. I've got to, looking at the clock, I've got to run and take Granny to a doctor's appointment today. That's one way she got to come home, was we promised we would, even before I left the hospital, made an appointment with her doctor today to let them check on her and make sure everything's still good. So when I come back, I'll end up cooking those in the Instapot this time. I usually like to do it in the crock pot overnight or all day long. Matt likes to do it in the pressure pot on the stove, but I'll put those in the Instapot, and they'll be good. I found some side meat I had in the refrigerator, so I'll cook the side meat. That's salt pork, fat back, different things people call it, streaked meat. I'll cook that. And then I thought, oh, we have lettuce out in the garden, so I'm going to get lettuce and fresh green onions, and I'm going to make Kilt lettuce. That's a real traditional Appalachian recipe. Really pretty easy salad to whip up, so I'll do that. And then I'll probably make maybe some soupy taters to go with it, which is just stewed potatoes, but we call them soupy potatoes. We cook them till they're nice and soft, and the water and the butter and everything's kind of brothy with the potatoes. And that probably will be enough. That will be a real feast. I want to make a dessert. For the past several years, Granny's been making, she'd make for Matt a holy smoke cake. And I have a video where Granny shows how to make that, so I can link to that. And of course she don't feel up to making it today or yesterday for sure when we first got home. And I thought maybe I had the materials to make it, the ingredients, but I don't. So then I was like, okay, that's out. I thought about the orange cinnamon bread that Matt loves so much, but again, I have one orange over there, so that wouldn't be near enough rind for me to use, and I don't have time, because I got to tell you, I had all kinds of stuff I need to do this morning, and then I got to run and take Granny to the doctor, and that's like a kind of a dessert that takes all day long. So I thought, well, I'm going to look in mine and Jim's cookbook and see what else I was just having trouble thinking. So I've settled on a strawberry shortcake. I'm going to do that. It is the perfect time of the year for strawberry shortcake, and I know Matt really likes them too. And we'll make him a holy smoke cake and even some orange pull-apart bread later. Last year I did Christmas in July, and I made that bread, so I'll definitely try to do that again this year. But it's nice to be back in front of the camera talking to you. I've really missed being in all the videos. I've done a few lives, but I've not been able to be in as many videos. Last weekend when I was home, we did film too, so you'll have got to watch those this week. But definitely Corey and Matt has been doing the major work on the Celebrating Appalachia channel, and I really appreciate both of them and think they've done a fantastic job. But it's nice to be back with you today, and I hope that you enjoy me cooking Matt's birthday dinner. Of course, there's a weed right in the middle of my lettuce. It's a dandelion though. I could eat it too. Pull it up. This variety of lettuce is Paris Island. I really like it. My favorite, though, Jericho, is right behind the camera there. I'll get some of it, but it is not done as good this year as the Paris Island. I also have some in the backyard that's in a grow bag that I planted last fall. Whoops, I'm throwing some trash in there. I planted it last fall, and it didn't do anything, and then this spring, it come up. It just needed to sit there all winter. So you probably notice I'm cutting the lettuce, some weeds I'm putting in there, cutting the lettuce near the bottom, but not taking the whole plant. That way it will grow back out for me, and we'll be able to enjoy it again. Some weeds, and some of it's still little, still growing. So here's the Jericho, and you can see it's much sparser than the Paris Island. Some weeds and some ants. So this is the lettuce I was talking about that I planted last fall. It took it all winter to come up, but it did. So I'm gonna take it to, it's a different type of lettuce. I can't remember, maybe Butter Crunch, but it's more of a tender lettuce. See right there, I'll have to cut those pieces out. Anyway, that maybe will grow back. The Paris Island and the Jericho, they really hold up to heat, so I know they'll come back. Maybe getting too hot already though for this. So I ended up with a lot of lettuce. You may be thinking, that looks like an awful lot of lettuce, Tipper. But when you're making Kilt lettuce, it takes way more lettuce than you think it will. Kind of like when you cook greens, how it takes more than what you think once they cook down. Once I put that hot grease on the lettuce, the same thing happens. So even though this looks like a tremendous amount, it won't be that much once I actually make the Kilt lettuce. I'm going to go ahead and wash it, spread me out a towel, put it out on the towel, and that way it can be drying while I take Granny to the doctor and while I do the other things to get ready for Matt's supper. And I thought of one thing I didn't mention. Kind of, you probably thought that knew it, even I probably didn't have to mention it because you probably guessed it. But of course, I'll make cornbread. You got to have cornbread to go with Kilt lettuce and soup beans. My day has gotten away from me. Took much longer with Granny and the doctor and all that than I thought it would, but Corey's here to help me whip up the last few things of the birthday supper. I have the beans in the Instapot. I'm going to do them for an hour and 15 minutes and then just check them and see. I've got my soupy taters over there, just stewed potatoes. I put some butter, some salt and pepper, cut them into chunks about like that. We like them like that a lot. And I've got my side meat, my fat back, in a pan over there, so I'll have to turn it on just here in a minute. We still need to do the cake, which is the most important thing, I think, and then the cornbread, which won't take that long. We'll go ahead and I guess start on the cake. Corey's helping me arrange all the ingredients, and then she's going to go ahead and do the strawberries, cut the strawberries out. So this recipe is in mine and Jim's cookbook, Celebrating Southern Appalachian Food. Strawberry shortcake, there's so many different varieties of making them. You know, I really love, I think in a video not long ago we shared where it was just a pound cake that our Aunt Wanda and Uncle Sam had bought at the grocery store and brought to us after Katie had the baby. That was delicious. Just cut that up, had some strawberries and some whipped cream. That was really, really good. And there's all different varieties and recipes. You know, some people just use biscuit, just the biscuit, make you a biscuit, and then cut it in half, put that wonderful strawberries with the juice, and then put some whipped cream. That's really good, really easy. And I'm not sure, I've been making this one for a long time, and I can't really remember where I discovered it, but I love it because of the texture of the cake. It's just kind of crunchy, but sweet and airy. I don't know. Oh, another one that's really good that's in here is to use angel food cake or sponge cake. And I have a punch bowl recipe in here for that. Anyway, so this is the strawberry shortcake. You need 1 quart of strawberries sliced and 1/2 cup sugar, 2 cups all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup butter cut into small pieces, 1/2 cup milk, 2 large eggs separated, and 1/4 cup sugar again, whipped cream or whipped topping, whatever you want to put on top of it. Corey's going to make us some whipped cream. So now I'm going to read the directions to you for the recipe. I think I have this somewhere on the Blind Pig and the Acorn, so I'll put that link in the description so you could go and have it all right there for you. But we're going to sprinkle the sliced strawberries with 1/2 cup sugar, stir and cover and chill while we prepare the cake. It's really great if you could do that earlier in the day, but I didn't get that done. Corey's going to do that for me though. To make the cake, we're going to combine flour, baking powder, salt, and 1/4 cup sugar. Then we're going to cut the butter into it, kind of like you were making biscuits or something, until the mixture is crumbly. Combine the milk and egg yolks and beat well, and then we're going to add that to the flour mixture and mix with a fork just until a soft dough forms. Divide the dough, and then we're going to press into, you divide it and then you're going to press it each half into a greased 9-inch cake pan. The dough is really sticky. I'll show you when we get to that part. And wetting your fingers will make it easier to pat it down. And it don't really have to be perfect. I'll show you that part too. But then we're going to beat the reserved egg whites until stiff. Divide them. We're going to put half on one cake pan, and half on the other cake pan over each dough layer. Sprinkle egg whites with 1/4 cup sugar. Bake at 450 degrees for 8 minutes or until golden brown. Allow cakes to cool on wire rack. We're so behind today, we may not allow them to cool. While cake, I guess they could cool while we're eating though. Yeah. While cake is baking, whip up some homemade whipping cream or get your store-bought whipped cream ready to use. If you'd like to serve the entire cake at a meal, you can place one cake layer on a serving plate, spread half of the whipped cream over the layer, and arrange half of the sliced strawberries on top, and then repeat with the other layer. Alternately, you could, whipped cream and strawberries may be added. You could just do it to each piece if it's served to prevent sogginess. If you put all that on your cake, it'll be really delicious, but if you try to eat it next day, it's going to be soggy. That crunchiness I was talking about will be gone. Of course, it'll still taste good, it just won't be the crispiness. So adding the beaten egg white sprinkled with sugar to the top of the dough really gives this cake a nice crunch that contrasts with the soft berries and the creamy topping. So you can serve it either way. I'm thinking, could we eat a whole cake tonight?
Depends how big it is.
Another way you could do it is you can top each, like it makes it really impressive if you make the top, you know, make it a layer cake. In other words, it's really beautiful. But we might do one layer, and then if we eat all of it, then we could do the other one, or we could save the other one till tomorrow, and it would still be a little bit crunchier. It wouldn't be so soggy. So now we just got to put it all together. I'm gonna get me a bowl to do that in. I guess I could just use this one right here, I think. Okay, I'm gonna follow my own directions here. Corey's doing the strawberries, so I'm buying the flour. Baking powder and salt. And 1/4 cup sugar. We got 2 different 1/4 cups, but I'll do that one. And then we're going to take the butter and cut it in there. If I had thought ahead, we could have grated the butter. I learned that trick from the Holmans. It makes it so much easier, but this will be okay. And I could have stirred it up before I started this, but I guess this will stir it up some while I'm cutting the butter in. Okay, I got that part done, and I also got my 9-inch cake pans out, and instead of greasing them, I'll grab one of them and show you. I like to use parchment paper, and you can buy parchment paper that's already like in the little rounds, which makes it so easy. You can also just cut out a piece and put it in the bottom. So now, let's see, what do I need to do next? My milk and my egg yolks. So I think I'm just going to use this little bowl here. actually said to, did it say to beat them? Let me get my little, my favorite little whisk. It's great because it gets in the corners. It's a Rada whisk, R-A-D-A. Okay, I'll go ahead and put it in. There. Okay. Stir it around till a soft dough forms. Throwing part of it in the floor, which is usually how I do, ain't it, Corey?
I did it too.
Make a mess, but I guess that's okay. I'm the one cleaning it up. Well, Corey may be cleaning it up today, but I won't make her clean up my mess in the floor.
I don't care. I'll clean it up.
I don't know what I would have done without Corey. She's helped me so much. Of course, Katie's helped here and there too, but she's got her hands full with the baby, so Corey will have before long. She'll have her hands full too. Let me move some of my stuff here. Get my two. Okay, I kneaded it together with my hands and I've divided it in half, and then I'm going to put it into our cake pans here. I usually just smush it around with my fingers, but you could definitely, I guess, if you wanted to roll it out, you might. It is kind of sticky though, so you'd have to add more flour if you did that. I usually just get it started and then put it in the cake pan. Okay, I've got them all pressed in. I think maybe you can see that. It's almost like a giant cookie. That's kind of what it reminds you of, because it's just very thin. Now I'm going to wash my hands and straighten up a little bit, and I have to beat the egg whites, and then I'll show you what to do with them. Okay, we got part of our mess cleaned up, and I've got the egg whites, so I'm going to put them on top of the cake here and put them in the oven. Me and Corey got mixed up about the sugar. She thought that she'd forgot to get it, and anyway, we thought we'd already used the sugar, and I put it back in the sugar jar, and then I started doing this, and I thought, no, that's where that sugar went. It went on here. Somehow we got mixed up. Kind of a funny looking cake, ain't it, Corey? Mm-hmm. But it turns out so good.
Oh, yeah.
Corey's eating some of my cabbage. I never did get to eat dinner, so when I come back from taking Granny, I was like, I need something, so I got some cabbage out and started eating raw. I like raw cabbage and salt. You'll have to tell me if you like that or not.
Very good.
I need to do this with offset. This works much better. Okay, now I can sprinkle the sugar on top. Corey preheated my oven for me, so all I need to do is put them in there. Keep an eye on them, but it usually takes, what did I say, about 8 minutes? Yeah, until done. So you can just check on them. The sugar is what, and those egg whites is what gives that nice crunch. Okay, let me put them in the oven. So I've got 27 more minutes on my beans. Hopefully they'll be done by then. So I still need to make the cornbread. I've got the side meat turned on low over there, so it's beginning to cook. My potatoes are boiling, so we're getting there. I still need to go outside though and get me some green onions for the kilt lettuce. Got the cornbread in the oven. Corey's, what are you doing? Frying up some little zucchini and things for her. Got the potatoes. The beans just finished, I think. I've got the layer of got the cakes out. You can see this is one of the layers. I think we'll just go ahead and make it all up just so it'll be real pretty for Matt's birthday. I went outside and got me some green onions, so I'm going to chop them up really quickly and then go ahead and get my salad ready so that when the meat's done, I'll do that last though, right before we're about to eat, just so that it don't get soggy or get cold, I guess. It'll be kind of soggy just so it don't get cold. But right now I'm just going to slice up the onions. Oh, they smell so good. Smell like spring for sure. Spring of the year. I've only lost one so far to the floor. Let's see if I can finish it without losing any more, maybe. Okay. Oh, that looks so good. Okay. Scoot those over. See if I can find the one I lost. I'll have to look for it later. Let me move this. Now I'm going to start I've got my lettuce where it's been drying. While I took Granny and all that, I kind of wrapped it up in my tea towel and added some paper towels, and I'm just going to roughly pull it apart and put it in here. You could chop it up with a knife, you could do that too, but I find it easier just to wash your hands good and do this part. Do it this way. Some of the pieces are so little they don't really need chopping or tearing. Some of them do. See, while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and put some onions, kind of layer them, do a layering. I'm going to get me some salt and pepper too. And I better check the meat while I'm at it. And I'm just going to salt and pepper it. Now I have a video about Kilt lettuce that I'll put in the description below. And in it I talk much more about the tradition of the traditional rite of spring that it is, this dish. And also share some different variations. A lot of people mix. I'm just going to pour my grease right over this. And it's just salt, pepper, the onions, and the lettuce. But a lot of people use like a vinegar to put with the grease and kind of make it a vinegar salad. I didn't ever do that, but Miss Cindy did. She liked to do that. Some people add vinegar and sugar. Some people add radishes. Lots of different yummy things to try, but I'll link to that. I think we're almost ready to eat. Corey, you want to do the cake for me? You want to frost it?
Yeah.
What are you over there eating?
Nothing. I wasn't eating it.
Yeah, put some of that, put some strawberries, and then we'll put this other cake, and then I will dress the lettuce. Actually, I probably should pour up everything else first. What? You're going to Hardee's? Will you come in here and look at this and tell me you're going to Hardee's?
It's a joke, dear.
I won't. What do you think, birthday boy?
Goodness.
Surprised?
Mm-hmm.
What Corey's making for you?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, that right there is delish meal.
We'll get you. These are actually our beans, Matt. Get you a plate, I was going to say. These are our rattlesnake beans that we dried.
Yeah.
They're good. They taste really good, but look how dark. They're way darker than regular soup beans.
They're pretty.
Yeah.
Lee, I've not had none of this since last year.
I know.
Oh. Did I get any onions?
I hope so. I put a lot in there.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. You want any kraut? Or you think that's enough?
I'll do that on the second run.
There's the piece that I've been doing enough of this piece.
Have you? You're a little rat nibbler, ain't you?
I've been putting it back every time I take a bite. But I'm taking it back now.
Just eat the whole thing.
Golly, this is a spread.
I'm telling you.
Corey, did you cook? Corey brought her some chicken because she don't like this other stuff as much as we do, and Katie, she brought it for her and Katie. Of course, you know I'm going to do my cornbread and put my beans on top of it. Right on cue, the baby wakes up. Yeah, right when everybody's going to sit down and eat. That's okay though. This does look pretty good. A little bit of slaw, or a little bit of kraut. Let's see. Move Corey's plate so that I can taste. What do you think, Matt, about the beans?
Good.
Our beans are really good from last year. I hope we can do that again this year. We didn't save very many, but enough to eat a little bit, a few times. Kilt lettuce is delicious too. Of course, soupy taters, always good. Very tart, but good kraut. This is definitely a feast. A birthday feast. Good birthday supper.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
I think it was a hit with everybody. Now look at this beautiful cake Corey helped me make. Isn't it beautiful? Ready for some of it? No. No, no, no.
After eating this much.
Should have just went all the way across, but oh well. How big of a piece can you eat?
That should do it.
It looks pretty, don't it?
Oh yeah.
It's a pretty pie. Pretty cake, not pie. There you go.
Thank you, dear.
Austin, you ready for a piece?
Yes, ma'am.
I turned Austin's over.
Might be all right.
I think Corey's still eating.
Thank you, thank you.
And Katie had to go feed the baby, so she's not even got to eat her supper yet. She'll have to wait. See if I can find a fork and I'll taste it. Looks really good.
Yeah.
Put some strawberries in the batter.
Stuff on your bed?
Very, very good.
What?
Just look all defeated.
Yeah, I'm tired and defeated.
The actual cake part has a different texture than just regular cake. I think regular cake and strawberries and whipped cream is good too. But I don't know. It's just really good. Well, I hope you enjoyed coming along with me and Corey as we cooked Matt's birthday supper. I think he's enjoyed it. He's shaking his head, yes. This cake recipe is in mine and Jim Cassidy's cookbook. I'll put that link in the description below. Also, the cornbread's in there. Trying to think if there's anything else in there. Of course, soup beans is in there. Whether you use ones you buy in the store, which is usually pinto beans, is what we think of soup beans, or like these first time me and Matt ever dried beans last year. Oh, you ready now, pregnant lady?
Maybe.
Maybe. Anyway, we're always grateful when you stop by to help us celebrate Appalachia.
Hold it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's all right, Parky, you're attacking on my.
You want me to cut you a piece?
Yeah, make it real small.
No,
Okay, that's cute. That's cute, thank you.
Oh, he's probably digging in the trash.
You need to cut your phone off or leave it?
Leave it.
I did kick it a little bit. So it's